In the simplest of the terms, you could call it fluid friction, right? Fluid friction. The easiest way to describe what is viscosity is this: fluid friction, right? That is, normally we have been talking about friction between two solid bodies. Am I right? When we studied friction in the chapter laws of motion. But here we are going to talk about the friction that is kind of occurring between layers of fluids. That's why I am writing it as fluid. Okay. So let me give you an example and also simultaneously explain why this happens. First thing to understand is that real fluids, see, I am not talking about ideal, I am talking about real. Real fluids have intermolecular forces. Right? So let's say that there is a fluid which is flowing. Right? Okay, let's say that maybe this is a river or something. Right? Let's say this is a fluid that is flowing. Here, so water molecules are flowing, let's say like this. And suppose they are flowing in different layers. So what we are going to have is the fluid molecules at the bottom, they are going to be attracted a little bit by the molecules of the sand beneath. You understand what I am saying? Yes. Or suppose water is flowing in a pipe, then the water molecules near the edge are going to be attracted by the molecules of that metal or whatever that pipe is made of. Understood? Attracted, I repeat. They are attracted. So what happens is that these molecules, obviously they are not moving, but these are trying to move. So what happens is the molecules that are not moving, they pull them and they drag them, they make them slow. Did you understand? Yes. You can think of it in a very simple way. Let's say there are two lines of people walking. Okay, this line is walking fast, line number one. The other line over here next to it is walking a little bit slowly. But suppose every now and then a person from second line pulls the hand of a person from first line. Do you realize that because of line 2, line 1 becomes slower? There are intermolecular forces, but they are between the layers. Make sense? Yes. From one layer to another layer. That is exactly what gives us viscosity. Understood? So what happens is that as long as two layers are moving at same speed, suppose these two layers are moving at same speed, then there is going to be no problem. Get it? But suppose one layer is slower than the other one, then there will be force between them. Right? So what will happen is that the slower one will try to drag or pull the faster one. Clear? The same thing is actually happening over here at the bottom of a river as well. So these molecules of sand, they don't move. But the molecules of water that are trying to move, right, they will be pulled by these sand molecules and that will make it slow. Understood? But as you go away, the effect decreases. So what happens is that fluid or water flowing in a river is fast at the top. I repeat, water flowing in a river is flowing fast at the top, but as you go towards the bottom, the speed will decrease. Same thing happens in a pipe. In a pipe, in the whole surrounding, the water is flowing slowly, but at the center, the water would be flowing fast. Why? Because everywhere it is surrounded by metal or the pipe. So there the pipe molecules pull it and make it slow. Now, it's not that it's just between a solid and a fluid. It happens between layers of fluid. For example, like I said, when two layers are flowing, if one layer is fast, the other is slow, then there is going to be a force between them. Right? Okay, that force, we don't call it frictional force, we call it viscous force. So what is viscous force? Each topic here, viscosity. Viscous force or viscous drag. Okay, we call it viscous force or viscous drag. Is the force acting between fluid layers force acting between fluid layers when there is a velocity gradient. Okay, when there is a velocity gradient. Simple language would be that when the layers have different velocity. When the layers have different, okay, that is the simple way to write. So viscous force is the force acting between fluid layers when these two layers have what? Different velocity, right? And whenever there are different velocities, we say that there is something called a velocity gradient. Alright, now what is this velocity gradient? That's what I am going to explain. Let's come to this pointer. So I draw some diagram. Let's say these are layers which are flowing. Okay. So like I said, let's say below this there is sand. Okay, suppose this is river. So this is slowest layer, then a little bit faster. I'm indicating these arrows. They are representing velocity. So the uppermost layer fastest, the lowest layer slowest. Again, why does that happen? Because the sand molecules at the bottom are going to drag. Okay. Now, what is meaning of gradient? Gradient means, gradient in definition. This is a general definition of gradient. Whenever you see that word gradient, you should understand it this way. Gradient means change of quantity, change of some quantity per unit distance. Gradient means change of some quantity per unit distance. Or in other words, delta quantity, the mass, delta of quantity divided by delta of position and a displacement of mass, but it's similar. Change of quantity per unit distance, that is change of quantity divided by change of position. This is what gradient becomes. Right? A general definition. Whenever someone says gradient, it means this only. Right? Whether it's velocity gradient, potential gradient, right? Not in 11th, but 12th, but this is common. So this is what gradient means. So for example here, if we want to write what is velocity gradient. So velocity gradient is delta V by delta Z. Velocity gradient is delta V by delta Z or dV by dZ. V for velocity, okay, for speed, and Z for depth, where Z is the depth. Again, gradient means change of some quantity with change of position. So here if you talk about velocity gradient, then it is change of velocity or change of position. Then why are we writing depth? Why are we not writing position? Let me, as you go down, position is changing, but as you go down, what is really changing is depth, isn't it? So instead of writing simple word position, we are using a proper word depth. So velocity gradient means, suppose velocity gradient is, let's say 1 meter per second per meter. So unit of 1 meter per second per meter. Did you understand this unit? Yes, no? Yes. What is velocity unit? Meter per second. Depth unit, meter. Clear? So 1 meter per second per meter. What this means is, suppose you go to the surface, here at the surface, let's say the speed of flow is 5 meter per second. Then if it go 1 meter deep, then the velocity will change by 1 meter per second. Right? So if it is positive, then as you go deep, it will increase. But generally in fluids, like in a river or in a pipe, the velocity gradient is negative. That means as you go down, the velocity will decrease. Clear or not clear? As you go down, the velocity will decrease. And here 5 hoy, suppose I have -1 meter per second per meter, then here it will become 4. You understood that? You go 1 meter deep, it will become 3. You go 1 meter deep, it will become 2. Understood what is meaning of velocity gradient?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Clear? How much, in short, how much does velocity change as you go down at a depth? Okay, that is what velocity gradient tells you. Now, it's quite simple to understand. Listen to this carefully. Mostly you get it in the first attempt. It's that suppose velocity gradient is 0. Suppose velocity gradient is 0. So velocity changes, no? Yes or no?
Yes.
Then will there be viscous force?
No.
Who understood that? There will be no viscous force if this is not there. Came with you? All layers are flowing with the same speed. There is no need for them to drag each other. Clear or not clear? Right? Dragging only comes into picture when there are two lines, but one line is faster and the other one is slow. Both are moving at same speed, no problem. Got it? So, do you also realize that if the gradient is more, if the velocity gradient is more, so give that any 5 days, any suppose 2 things, and પછી 1. So like that the gradient is more. That means they will pull each other more. Yes or no? Not clear? Okay, let me explain the case. Is that when forces are acting between two molecules, let's say these are molecules going in the first layer, and let's say these are molecules going in the second layer, and they are slow. So when they will pull each other, it's going to be that if the difference of velocities is more, suppose this is moving at 5 meters per second and this is moving at 3 meters per second, at that time they will try to drag each other more because the difference is big. If the difference becomes very small, what happens? They don't do anything. So gradually as the difference will increase, they will try to pull each other more so that everything moves at everything moves at same velocity. Make sense? Right? So bigger the difference between layers, the more force there is going to be, more viscous force. When everything moves with the same, no viscous. Clear? Basically what they do is they affect each other. Right? When they pull each other, they affect each other. So more the difference, the more pulling is going to happen. Right? So all these things, okay, one more. If we are talking about this viscous force, so far we have talked about it as follows. So viscous force depends on, number 1, velocity gradient, isn't it? That's the first thing I have explained. That higher the velocity gradient, the more the layers are going to pull on each other because they want to move in the same speed. Right? The second thing, which is even easier than this, is consider two situations. Let's say in one situation this is one layer and beneath it there is another layer. Okay, I'm drawing it with some space just so that I can draw it easily. Let's say this is some layer with some area, let's say 100 meters. Think of it like a river flowing. And if you watch that river from the top, you can see an area of the river. Yes or no? Absolutely sure. Let's say a river is moving exactly straight. You avoid it, but simple. In that case, you are going to see rectangle, correct? And water molecules or what is going to be flowing like this everywhere, correct or not?
Yes.
So if you think of only the upper two layers, then do you realize that molecules in 100 meters square are going to pull on molecules in 100 meters square? Not clear. Molecules in this 100 meter square area that you are watching from the top, are going to pull on the molecules in the second layer. Second layer માં કેટલા molecules છે? Same જ હોય ને? Yes or no?
Yes.
So these molecules, let's say there are 100 more, suppose. So 100 more molecules in this layer will pull 100 more molecules in this layer. Yes?
So why this one pull up upper layer, down layer will not pull upper
It
layer?
will. Action and reaction are always equal and opposite.
Because at the bottom layer the force of attraction is maximum. So the
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that force of attraction is maximum. I said that the lowermost layer flows slower because beneath that there is sand which is not moving. Understood? Right? So what happens is this stationary object, they are trying to slow down the water. So this layer is slowing. Right? Then this slow water will try to slow down the next one. So it will still be slightly fast. Is that clear? Because this is still moving and now that one is moving. The upper one moving even faster. Okay? So every layer pulls each other. Remember, there is always action and reaction. In fact, that is why the slower one pulls the faster one and faster one pulls the slower one. You should realize that the slower one is trying to make the faster one slow. Listen to the word carefully. The slower one is trying to make the faster one slow, and the faster one is trying to make the slower one fast. Clear?
Yes. So when the faster one will become slow.
Will the faster one become slow?
By
Sit down. If you compare two cases, listen to this. If you compare two cases, one with viscosity, which is real, and second one ideal, without viscosity. Right? Then under similar circumstances, without viscosity, the fluid should flow faster. Understood? Without viscosity, the fluid should flow faster. Exactly what you have been thinking about. The friction is slowing it down. The friction is slowing it down. Suppose there was no viscosity, what would happen? So velocity is આવી રીતે ન આવે. This is what is typical velocity diagram, right? Upper one highest, then less. If there was no viscosity, then
all will be same.
understood? Right? So without viscosity, a fluid can actually flow faster. Fine. But because there are no fluids without viscosity in real life, this question is out of context. Okay. Yes, Veda.
Sir, if there is no layer at the lowermost point,
If there is no layer, what do you do? એવું બને જ નહીં ને, lower most layer તો હોય જ.
પાઇપમાંથી આપણે ફુવારો કરી સર
તો એમાં lower most layer ન હોય.
એટલે સર સ્ટેશનરી લેયર છે
પાઇપ સ્ટેશનરી ન હોય.
સર પણ પછી હવામાં જ્યારે હોય ત્યારે પછી વિસ્કોસિટી રહે કે ન હોય?
Viscosity is a property of material, mind you. You understand what I'm saying? Viscosity is always there. The only thing to consider is how many layers are there in contact with each other. But yes, when you spray it, everything goes apart. Then it will not flow in layers. You understand what I'm saying? Viscosity is still there, but the effect will be negligible in that case, because once it goes out of the pipe and let's say you are spraying it like a fountain, right? Sprinkler. You have seen a sprinkler or not? So in case of sprinkler, the viscosity of water is not that important because there every droplet is going in a different direction. Make sense? But if there is a stream, you understand the difference between stream and a sprinkler? What's a stream? Where water flows together, like in a river. And that's the place where viscosity really matters. Or in pipes, where it flows together. Understood? So, I was saying that suppose you've got some layers like this and there are molecules. Many molecules in some 100 meters square. If you compare this situation with another river, let's say, only difference being area. Suppose instead of being very wide, okay, ignore the other effect, listen to this carefully. Instead of being 100 meters square area, let's say it was only 10 meters square. Right, in two layers. Both the layers will now have less molecules, yes or no?
Yes.
Less molecules, more molecules? Less. Because the area is
Less.
obvious. Fine. Okay, so now whatever number of molecules are there in these layers, and let's say they are still moving with the same speed as they were here, suppose 2 meter per second, and let's say here 1.9 meter per second. Same thing here, suppose 2 meter per second and 1.9 meter per second. So everything else is same. Only difference is the area. So do you realize that in this second case when the area is less, the viscous force will also be less?
Yes.
કારણ કે ખેંચવાવાળા ઓછા. Did you understand that? In a very simple language. Because there are less number of molecules that can pull each other. That's why the force acting between two layers will be less. I hope you realize what I'm saying. Right? It's again a comparison of two lines if you think about it. Let's say in one case in two lines there are only 5 people each. And the 5 people are going to pull each other. The forces will not be that big. Suppose now you consider the forces applied by a line of 50 people on each other. Obviously, in this case, the force is more. 50 go to 50. Pehla 5, pachi 50. Yes, Ahil.
Sir, no, stationary or fluid.
Stationary fluid માં viscosity ની વાત કરવી એટલે હવામાં ગોળીમાં. Understood? For stationary fluid, viscosity is completely irrelevant. સમજાણું? હવે આગળ બોલો. બસ capacity. Because like I said, when does viscosity or when does viscous force act? Only when there is a velocity gradient. That is, the layers have different velocity. બધું stationary હતું. Understood? It's like, you know, I'm going to ask you a trick question. આ ઉદાહરણ કે પૂછું તમે રહી ગયા. આ જે રહી પડી છે? Yes? How much is the frictional force acting on it? Zero. It is zero. It is nothing else. It cannot be anything else. Right? Because if it is not zero, then strange things will happen. Anyway, arm jai. Anyway, arm away. I hope you realize what I am saying.
Yes.
Okay, so just like that, right? Just like that. If fluid is not moving and still there are viscous forces close to that, anybody एक layer arm then this layer arm then, right? That can only happen in movies. Okay. So again, what I was telling you is that if there are more number of molecules, they are going to pull on each other more. Right? You can easily imagine this. Two lines. Let's say people are going to pull on each other, but let's say there are 7 students in each line. But in the other case, let's say we make a longer line. And now when they try to move, they have to stop each other. So do you realize that, let's say instead of 7, if there are 100 people, then they are going to apply more force on each other. Exactly that. So more area, more molecules and more viscous force. So I'm sure you don't mind me writing this line here. Viscous force depends on area of layer. Yes or no?
Yes.
Right? So bigger the area, the more number of molecules there are to pull, and that's why viscous force is more. And number 3. It depends on the material, that is fluid. Okay, substance or material को देखो, right? And also on temperature. The last two I'm going to explain after writing an equation. Okay, so if you just consider the first two, listen to this carefully. I said while explaining the first one is that if the velocity gradient is more, that is the difference of velocities is more, that would mean the force is also more. So first of all we have this, that is the viscous force in FE. Viscous force is proportional to delta V by delta Z. There is nothing but velocity gradient. Higher the velocity gradient, more viscous force there will be between layers. The second one tells you that Yes, it is proportional to area, because if area is more, number of molecules is more, and if number of molecules is more, they are going to pull on each other. Viscous force. So when we combine both of these, we get a constant, right? Proportionality removed over here, so you get a constant. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Here I'm going to write a constant. Okay, here I'm going to write a constant. And that constant is eta. Okay, the constant is eta, ETA. पूछड़ी वाला है. Okay, remember that. Greek letter eta. Okay. Not only that, we also have to write a minus. Okay, why are we writing a minus sign? So that the magnitude turns out to be positive. Let me explain. Like I said, as you go deeper, the velocity will always decrease. So our quantity negative. I repeat, as you go deeper in a fluid, which is flowing, let's say in a river, the velocity will always decrease. So delta V will be negative if you compare 2 points. Let's say 1 point here at depth suppose 10 centimeter, another point here at depth 20 centimeter. Okay, sorry, 25. So then if you find delta Z, final minus initial, let's say B is final initial, so 20 minus 10, that is 10. But do you realize that VA will be greater than VB?
Yes.
So if you find delta V that is nothing but VB minus VA, final minus initial, so are negative side, yes or no?
Yes.
Because VA is going to be greater than VB. The deeper you go, the speed will decrease. So if you don't write this minus sign, always you are going to get an extra negative. So what we do is we write minus in the formula itself, so that we don't have to worry about the magnitude or anything, right? So minus eta A means delta V by delta Z, or if you want to do, or if you want to write it in form of differentiation, you can still write it like this: minus eta A dV by dZ. So this is viscous force. Now let me tell you something about eta that is related to point 3 and 4. What is eta's name? You may have studied it in chapter 2. The dimensions function. So coefficient of viscosity. Coefficient of viscosity. Eta. Right? Coefficient of viscosity is eta. Right? Now, eta is actually a property of material. Right? Is property of material. For example, if you think of water, then water has a different viscosity than oil. Oil will have a further different velocity than helium gas. Remember, gas is also a fluid. All fluids have viscosity. Gases also have viscosity. Okay? So, eta is a property of material. Right? So, whatever that material is, eta depends on that. And it also depends on temperature. Eta itself depends on temperature. Right? So, coefficient of viscosity depends on temperature. Now, why does this happen? And how does it depend? પહેલા લખી લો શું થાય પછી reason. For gases, as temperature increases, eta increases. અહીંયા એનું reason લખવાનું છે. Don't write anything of it. For liquids, as temperature increases, eta decreases. Upper arrow going up increases, arrow going down decreases. Okay, shorthand. Aku no lagta. And here I am going to tell you the reason. Okay, so what are the reasons for all this? First, gases. You have studied this in chemistry about gases, that as temperature will increase, their random motion will increase. Have you studied that?
Yes.
So because of that, what happens is ગેસ મોલિક્યુલ્સ પછી સખણા રહીને હેરાન કરે બાજુમાં જતા હોય ને. What I mean to say is consider that gas is flowing in two layers, okay, like this and this. One layer is faster and the other layer is slower. So right now suppose temperature is 300 and it has some viscosity. Now if you increase the temperature, the random motion tendency will increase. પછી પેલા જેમ આમ સાઈડમાં ભટકાઈને વિસ્કોસિટી આપતા હતા ને એના બદલે વધારે ભટકા, because they are moving more random. પેલા કેવું હતું આમ લાઈન બરાબર જતા, okay, march in line, okay, but now because of random motion થોડી વાર થાય એટલે રેવાની કઈ એને હળ કરે, okay, આમ સાઈડમાં આગળ નહીં. Is that clear? But if the temperature is more, એવું થાય ને આમ તમે તમારી માર્ચિંગ કરો ને થાકી ગયા તો બહુ નથી થતું એટલે આજુબાજુ વાળા હેરાન કરો, બરાબર, you start chatting with them, correct or not? So as temperature will increase, the random motion behavior or tendency is going to increase, so they will push each other here and there more. Understood? That is, they affect each other more. That means if temperature will increase, the tendency of viscosity will also increase because two layers will disturb each other. Reason clear? The simplest way to explain it is random motion tendency increases, and that's why coefficient of viscosity also increases. Understood? Yes? No?
Yes.
On the other hand, in liquids, the story is completely different. You see, liquids have decent amount of intermolecular attraction. That's why liquids are liquids. You understand what I'm saying? That's why liquids have the properties that they have. They take the shape of vessels. They don't fly away like that. Correct? Okay. So under normal circumstances, let's say 300 Kelvin, there is some viscosity between layers. The higher the temperature, the lesser the attraction will be. I'm sure you know that as you heat something, vibrations start in a compound, and the intermolecular attraction will start to decrease. Okay, clear? Intermolecular attraction will start to decrease, right? It is ultimately gas body. Everyone realizes that as temperature increases in a liquid, the intermolecular attraction will decrease. So intermolecular attraction that was giving it viscosity will now decrease. So if that will decrease, eta will decrease because they will now not be able to attract each other that much. So here the reason is that intermolecular force decreases as temperature increases. So these causes are completely opposite. એનું રીઝન એ છે કે gases have viscosity because of random motion. I repeat, gases have viscosity because of random motion and liquids have viscosity because of intermolecular forces. So બેમાં effect ઊંધી થાય. Random motion will increase, so gases will have increase in viscosity, but intermolecular force will decrease, so liquid will have decrease in viscosity. Okay, right? Yes.
If the difference is big between the molecules and more viscous force
Difference.
is big and more viscous.
Which difference is the difference of speed?
Intermolecular forces.
Difference of intermolecular forces or difference of speed? In this one, huh?
Yes.
What did I say?
If the difference is big,
Which difference is big?
layers.
Different. Which difference is big? I'm not-
Velocity.
difference of velocities is big, then intermolecular force is going to be more. Because of in gases, it's because of hitting each other, and in liquid, it's because of attracting each other. Yeah. There. Clear? Everything? Sure? Okay. Anyone else? Any questions? Alright. So this is a very important thing to remember. Our question feel like need my words. Like they tell you that A is a liquid and B is a gas. And then they say that we increase temperature from, let's say, 0 degrees Celsius to 100 degrees Celsius. Then which of the following is true? They call it now to see. Understood? Okay. So I hope you have got hold of these four reasons or these four factors on which viscous force depends. Indirectly it depends on material and temperature because eta depends on that. So if it asks me what does viscous force depend on, I'll say first of all it depends on three things. One, eta. Second, area. Third, velocity gradient. But now further, eta depends on what that material is, and it also depends on temperature. So this is how you have to find. Okay. So that's about viscous force or viscous drag between layers. That's all an example from code. There is one example. What happened? Don't have to go? Okay. This example over here is 9. Okay. 10.7. 10.7. We have not done it. We will do it. Don't worry. Next. Okay. 10.7 is based on Venturi meter. We probably did the theory. Yeah, time. Okay, fine. So next time we will solve these examples. Sorry. For finding speed of blood. Venturi meter. That is another medical device called catheter. Catheter. C-A-T-H-E-T-E-R. Catheter. Never mind. Come on. What is it?